Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you live from the home studio on this 22nd day of February in the year 2026. And you all know why we're here. And it's because of this man right here, Tony Mondaro, who is going to probably not scare the crap out of you the way everybody else has over the last couple of days. Tony, good to see you, brother.
Kevin, always a pleasure to be with you. And before we even get going, who won that hockey game today?
Jack Hughes of the New Jersey Devils scored the game-winning goal in overtime,
How
about a
do you
minute
like
and a
that?
half in. Holy cow! He has had a bad season. He had a beautiful, beautiful game today. Now, you know, it was kind of funny. I remember, like during the second period, I didn't hear his name said once. I don't know if he played a single shift in the second period, but in the third period he did, and in overtime he came through. What a night! What a game that was, man! What a day!
Well, congratulations to the United States, and I'm glad that they won. And probably a lot of hard work went into that. Like a lot of hard work has gone into this weather forecast all week. Kevin, this has been
Get
a
to it,
winter,
yeah.
right? We've said right off the jump back in the fall that this was going to be a snowy winter, and already without a single additional flake falling, we have 21 inches of snow thus far here in Harrison for a total seasonal total so far, and that's going to go up. And if forecasts verify, we're going to be over our average at the end of this storm. Let's set this up now. First of all,
Okay.
folks, we're not going to have, I don't believe anyway, over 20 inches of snow. Is it possible to approach that? I believe so, but nothing north of 20 inches. 20 inches would be the jackpot for our area. So let's bring it back a little bit this afternoon, our current situation, what's going on. Right now, we have some rain mixed with some snow. That will eventually go into a wet snow this evening and become steadier and heavier. And overnight, after midnight, that's when the heaviest snows will fall, maybe a 1 to 2 inch an hour snowfall rate. The winds will pick up 15, 25 miles per hour, maybe gusts in some instances over approaching 50 miles per hour, especially the places that are wide open in the area where the snow can really, run, and
Yeah.
also higher, our higher elevation wind sensors, they'll probably do up to near that 50 miles per hour. But it's still a formidable storm where the snow, it's going to start as that heart attack type of snow where it's going to be, wet, but it'll eventually become drier. So those of you who are out there shoveling, plowing, trying to get the snow off your vehicles and stuff like that, try and do it before you head, you call it quits for the night. Any snow that had accumulated to maybe get rid of that underlying heavier snow. Now, I think total accumulations by this time, it's all said and done. Listen close, folks. An average now between 6 to 12 inches of snow on average. Now, if we get into the heavy snow bands tomorrow morning, also into late morning, you're looking at a 13 to possibly up to that 20 inches of snow, but that would be the worst. So average 6 to 12 with the potential, if we get into the heaviest snow bands, up to 13 to 20 inches of snow. I do not think we'll get north of 20 inches, especially looking at some of the computer guidance that came in a short time ago, what we call the 12Z runs. We haven't seen an uptick in the snow. If anything, they're cutting the snow amounts steadily down right now. It's very important to know the National Weather Service has issued a blizzard warning. It starts at 6 o'clock tonight and goes to 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And that's statewide. And also, we have coastal flooded warnings also in effect. What happens, Kevin, with the high tides and with the storm that's developing, this very strong storm developing offshore, we'll have water being driven in, and we'll have some coastal flooding, minor to moderate flooding. So those of you who live in a flood-prone area, tidal flood-prone areas like the Meadowlands and stuff like that, just heed that and make sure you guys are okay. I don't think it'd be anything like we had during Sandy, but some flooding nonetheless. Maybe a little bit more than you usually get when there's a full moon.
What for those of us who are not savvy with the terms, what is a blizzard warning as opposed to a blizzard watch and all the different terms that you might hear?
Very good. And Kevin, always excellent questions by you, and I appreciate that. Blizzard warning, you have to have at least, used to be sustained winds, 1 minute sustained at 35 miles per hour. Now it's gusts. You need to have wind gusts 35 miles per hour or greater for 3 hours or more. That would be a blizzard, warning, and also reduced visibility due to blowing and drifting snow. And that'll be another issue with blowing and drifting snow, even with the stuff that we have on top of it. So that'll make travel a nightmare. Listen, folks, if you don't have to travel, especially tonight, hey, let's make it a tiny time after 6 o'clock tonight. Don't travel. Don't get yourself caught up into slippery roads and situations. And even though the DPWs will be out there salting and plowing, you don't want to be out there in a dangerous situation trying to come down a hill or anything like that. You just need to pay attention, stay indoors, let the storm pass, and then tomorrow in the cleanup mode, Kevin, I don't think until maybe Tuesday morning do we
Right.
get into any semblance where the traffic will be able to go, normally again, if not even Wednesday. Especially if we get upwards of that 20 inches of snow that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Which I actually think my heart of hearts, if I were to say, hey Tom, what are you really thinking? I'm really thinking 6 to 12, and if it overachieves a little bit, maybe in that 15 mark there, that 20 would be the jackpot. Would literally be like hitting the lottery here. And don't be too about hitting jackpots and lotteries. Don't be alarmed in the middle of the night. You hear a loud bang and it's thunder, because we could get some thunder snow with this too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Why would how does that happen when we're talking about temperatures that are like so cold and below 32 degrees? How does that all
It's
come
the
about?
energy. It's the energy in the upper atmosphere, as what we call FGen, 850 millibars and 700 millibars, different levels of the atmosphere. That causes that to happen. And you could get some thunder snow.
Wow. Well, we have two
You,
mayors in the chat room right now. Before we continue, Mayor Carol Jean Doyle from the town of Kearney is joining us here today, and so is Mayor Dan Pronti, the mayor of North Arlington. So thank you both for being here, and we'll get into some of the closures and restrictions in a bit. Now, just real quick, if you don't mind me going back to what we were talking about before, right? You mentioned that the wind gusts have to get to 35 miles an hour for a blizzard warning, right? But it doesn't have to do with and I never knew this. It doesn't have anything to do with the accumulations or at
no,
all. Or, no.
not at all. Mm-mm, no. No,
Okay.
it's visibility driven, and it's wind gust driven. Like I said, in the old days, it used to be sustained winds. Now you have to have gusts 3 hours or more.
3 hours or more. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
If you're just joining us, Tony Mondaro, right here at the Harrison Weather Center, he is telling us it is not good, maybe not going to be as bad as people are saying. We talk about this during every snowstorm about how it seems like they want it to be the big thing. They want it to be this incredible storm. And, I was reading a lot today before in anticipation of you and me coming on the air together. There's some people that are saying like more than 30 inches of snow. Where the hell did they get that from? If you're saying more than likely we're not going to hit more than 20, how does that even happen, Tony?
Some of the model guidance, like the North American model called the NAM, was going for 32 inches of snow. Some of the other models were going up to 30 inches of snow. But we have a very important thing here at the Harrison Weather Center, and everybody has one of these. It's called a window. You got to look out the window. Now, if this was going to be 30 inches of snow, it would be snowing to beat the band from this morning on. Most of the day has been rain. That was correctly called by us here. None of the models at all showed rain. Well, Tony, how do you know it's going to be rain? You had a 50-degree day yesterday. You have right now surface temperatures, the road temperatures right now. The road temperatures right now, Kevin, are 35 to 40 degrees. So it's saving the DPW overtime now and saving them money, because they're going to have to be out there assaulted. But I think as we get deeper into the afternoon and into the evening, that's going to change. And don't be surprised, too, that you might get a little lull in this. It may be a couple of hours, maybe, where you'll have very light precipitation or none at all, and then the main event ramps up, later on into this evening and overnight. So that's a
Overnight.
possibility, too, this afternoon.
How about you personally? You must have had a busy 48 hours at this point, right? I mean, did you sleep at all in the last
No,
couple of days? No.
No, Kev, it's a passion. And the reason why I do it for like Mayor Doyle and Dan Pronte, or Mayor of North Arlington, which I worked for years. Great man over there in NA, and Carol just the same. And can't forget my hometown, Jimmy Fife and his crew here in our Harrison DPW. And we brief our DPW and we talk to our DPW clients every day at 7 o'clock in the morning, giving them the greatest and latest stuff. So they're prepared for this. So in places like Kearney, Lyndhurst, Rutherford, Harrison, they're not surprised now about this thing coming. They've been ready for this for days, and
Yeah.
they'll meet it head on too. And now, Kevin, what we try to do too is to try to save the town money in overtime and salt, production, where they don't have to maybe go out and buy all that salt if it's not needed. Could this be the last one of the year? It's hard to say. It's late February. You still got all March to go, and you can't forget, rather, April 6th of 1982, where it snowed 12 inches on that one Friday. So, and it's been a winter. We've had winters now where we have a low of 3 degrees, and that's very important too. We're not going to get that sustained cold after the storm. You'll have a day. Tuesday will be in the low to mid 30s, but the rest of the week looks like it's going to be okay, with temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s, but perhaps even near 50 approaching next weekend. So you'll have melting days, and you'll have some chilly nights too. So yeah, a busy time here at the Weather Center, Kevin. I always appreciate it when you give us a couple of minutes to do this, especially with an important situation that we do today. So to recap, Kev, we're thinking not as bad as some are saying. Going to be a formidable snowstorm. It's not going to be a 96 where we had the 28 inches in 96, but it could be a formidable storm where it may be in the top 10 or 15 by all the time said and done. You're out this afternoon. Don't worry about it. Go out there before 6 o'clock, and you're able to run your errands, finish up wherever you need to do. But please, folks, tonight, stay off the roads. Give the street departments and the road crews a chance to work and to try to clear the roads. And I do think, the call of the state of emergency statewide is warranted with this, because it is going to be quite nasty tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon as far as the roads are concerned. Even with them trying to keep up with the plows and everything like that, where you're snowing 1 to 2 inches an hour, even the best plow teams would have some difficulties.
Yeah. During every storm, I always kind of put you on the spot, but we talk about the people who have to plan, like all the residents of the area here. You you always say to be storm smart. Explain that just to people, like, who, because people are, there's going to be some who are going to panic no matter what, even though you're saying there's really no reason to panic. So what would you say to them, Tom?
Well, what I would say, Kev, is always have a storm preparedness, a storm kit ready to go. Have some extra food, some extra water, around. A couple of days in case you can't get out. Make sure your furnace is all in top-notch condition, and your hot water heaters and stuff like that too. Just use common sense. You don't need to panic. There's no need to panic here. If people have generators, please don't. If you have portable generators, don't put them inside your garage. You don't need carbon monoxide problems. People have outside generators. Make sure they're maintained and ready to go. It's just simple stuff like that. Even before the storm now, get out there and clear anything that's loose outside. And use common sense to put your garbage out too. Maybe wait until the morning of, or if you have an idea when pickup is, that you don't put it out there and it's blowing all around, and now you have a real mess out there to clean up.
Yeah. Tony Mondaro of the Harrison Weather Center, who's been doing this for 44 years now, is it? How many years, Tony, altogether? I would think for like 82 is your first year, right?
Yeah, 82. Yeah, and Kev, I don't want to forget too. Let's thank the following people out there,
Mm.
in order: the government officials that we deal with, me and you, with these snow accumulations, only because they're the ones who support our EMS, our fire, our police, our DPW, and all the special services out there that go out and assist in the storm. Let's not forget those here. And those people I just named, in my book, are all heroes, because without them, we can't have a safe community out there. You know, I think I'm pretty on point with that. No, Kev?
Always, always. And you speak from experience. as a first responder too. And I always appreciate that you always remember them too, because they have a lot of work to do. The DPWs have a lot of work to do. And, it's very easy for people to Monday morning quarterback after a storm and say, well, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they didn't do this, instead of focus on the fact that getting rid of snow in a town the size of Kearney, Belleville, it is not an easy task to do what they have to do. Harrison is in a different ballpark all of its own. It always has been. You know that. I mean, when you look at the job that they do, it's exemplary. But they also have the equipment, and it's a smaller town and smaller geographical part of the town. But the work that most the DPWs do often goes unheralded, because a lot of times people just don't, they want to see immediate results, and that's not always possible. And I think it's sometimes unfair that some towns will get a bad reputation because it didn't happen as quick as people wanted. And people want everything. They really do. And Tony, I got to ask you about this, because there were some complaints about the way the snow was removed after the last storm, and then it was finally removed. And then people were complaining about the potholes that came after that when the snow was finally removed. It's almost like you can never win, right? I mean, you got to see it on social media and other things. Talk about that a little bit.
I'll tell you, yesterday I just, I knew the storm was coming today, Kevin, and you're
Right.
absolutely right. And I'm talking about social media getting hit with all angles, with all these cockamamie snowfall forecasts and all this craziness. I just walked away from it for about 12 hours yesterday. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Just walked away. I couldn't take it no more. It's crazy. You
No.
know, they could do, the our town fathers could have a blowtorch and get rid of all the snow in 2 seconds.
Mhm.
Snap their fingers, if that was possible, and people would still find something to complain about. You
Right.
know, they,
Absolutely.
they do they do the best they can, but two, I think it's on the resident too. No, don't block the snow in the streets. After the plows come by, try to help them too. Here at my little place on Davis Avenue, I put all my snow from my sidewalk in my front yard, and it's a
Right.
lot of it sometimes. That's
Yeah.
helping out the community, not blocking other sidewalks, not putting it in the street. And that's a one way to help. So if you have the property, the real estate by your house, and some people don't, but some people do, put that snow, if you can, somewhere on your property, if you can. Some people just don't have the room to do
Right.
it.
Right.
Shovels, and be smart too. And please clear a path for people to pass. Even if it's the shovel wide or 2 shovels wide, because I do a lot of commuting in my post-retirement on foot, and you'd be surprised how many people don't clear their walks, and I have to go into the street to walk.
Yeah, isn't that
So
mind-boggling that
little things like that are a big help.
truly? On our
You
way
know,
out here, and after you and I talk, I have to do some housekeeping items too, about some closures and things of that nature. Let's just kind of pull it all together here. And once again, thank you for doing this too. I know it's very short notice, and I appreciate any time that you can ever give us is time very well spent all the time. Just give it to us in a nutshell one last time for anybody who may be joining us for the first time at this moment.
absolutely, Kev. If you're just joining us, me and Kevin here on our special for this blizzard of 2026, please, before you do anything, like and subscribe, because
Ha!
without liking and subscribing, we can't be here. That's number one.
Thank you.
Number two, if you're doing any traveling this afternoon, walk in the park. You'll be fine. You'll have a little rain mixed with some snow, which will start to transition as we get later into the afternoon to snow. Snow becomes heavy at times tonight, especially after 9 o'clock through Monday morning. Snow could, increase 1 to 2 inches per hour. We're thinking here at the Harrison Weather Center, which we have been for days, 6 to 12 inches of an average accumulation. If we get into the real heavy snow bands, which is still a little bit questionable, then we could wind up with a 13 to perhaps up to 20 inches of snow. Our gut feeling here at the Harrison Weather Center is about 15 inches, I think, is going to wind up doing it. At least I hope so. Temperatures tonight will be in the 20s. It will be very windy. with blizzard conditions. The National Weather Service has posted a blizzard warning. Winds could gust up to 50 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, the snow tapers down in the afternoon, and we look for some warming and some rain coming into middle and the end of next week. Also, on the way out, Kev, folks, remember to shovel around fire hydrants, help the fire department out. And also, crosswalks was very helpful. And also, if you don't want to see any flooding with the snow melt, maybe rapid snow melt at the end of next week, especially if we get 50 degrees and some rain, clear those storm basins, those catch basins, and then this way you'll mitigate flooding. I'm sure the town fathers, mayor, and councils will thank you. The DPWs will thank you for doing those two things too: clearing the fire hydrants, clearing crosswalks, and also the catch basins. As a community, help everyone out by making the area a lot safer. And again, thank you for all the public safety people. So Kevin, have a great rest of the broadcast, and we'll be working here at the Harrison Weather Center with the latest. Those who want to see the latest information, go to our Facebook, Harrison Weather One. And Kev, again, thank you for the wonderful piece a couple of weeks ago about the donation drive here at the Weather Center. It was very well received. We did pretty good with that, and I thank you. And all my Facebook friends have tuned in to watch us this afternoon. Thank you very much for being with us for all these many years. We really appreciate it. Kev,
And
back to you.
I do too, Tony. I mean, I talked to you yesterday, and right away it was like, yes, I'll do it. And you don't have to do that. I mean, and I can't tell you how much that means to me, and I appreciate it. I'm sorry I couldn't get to you earlier. You know why. I don't want to talk about it, but you know why I didn't get to you earlier. But so I really, really appreciate the fact that you were able to do this today. And if anything else changes,
Sure.
I know I'm going to be around. You know where to find me. Thank you, Tony.
Awesome, sir. Have a great rest of the program.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later. There he is, the one and only Tony Mondaro, he of the Harrison Weather Center. You don't find better people than Tony in this world. You really don't. Now, let me get this out of the way of the screen right now, because I want to just, Tony said it already. Let me just get this thing out of here, too. I got to figure out how to get rid of that. This is a big thing. You have to really do your part. And in speaking with Deputy Mayor Melanie Ryan of Kearney about a couple of hours ago, she said, if it's right not by if the hydrant's not right by your house, do one portion of it. And other neighbors can pick up the pace and do other portions of it. But you see what the regulations are. If those hydrants are not clear and they're covered, and God forbid there's a fire in your neighborhood, and firefighters have to spend time digging it out before they can hook up to a hydrant, it could be the difference between life or death. And so it is so important at times like this for people to be neighborly, I guess is the word. And we don't see that often anymore, I guess. Years and years and years ago, that was always the case. People took care of each other. And I don't want to sound preachy here, because that is certainly not what my intention is. But I do hope that people will, when you're clearing things out, remember that the fire hydrants are a very important part of this, and keeping them cleared so that if, God forbid, there is a fire and the fire department does have to come out, they'll be able to have a pretty clear access to get to those hydrants. So don't forget that while you're out and you are doing your thing in the next couple of days to clear your properties. Now, this is what I have heard from Mayor Carol Jean Doyle about Kearney. Tomorrow and Tuesday, there will be no Meals on Wheels, and there will be no dial-a-ride for senior citizens. So please keep that in mind. There will be no senior jitney bus service Monday and Tuesday in the town of Kearney as well. So that is very important to know, especially if you know any senior citizens. Please inform them that there will be no Meals on Wheels Monday and Tuesday, no dial-a-ride, and the senior buses will not be running Monday and Tuesday. Town Hall in Kearney will be closed on Monday, and the DPW yard will be closed until further notice. There will not be garbage or recycling pickup on Monday either, as well, in Kearney. So you got to keep that in mind as well. And the whole snow emergency is already in effect on several streets. Kearney Avenue, the entire length, and Healy Terrace and the south side of North Midland Avenue are the first three that are in effect. The Kearney Police Department will begin towing your vehicle at 6 p.m. today. That's a couple of hours from now. If your vehicles are not removed from Kearney Avenue, the entire length, if they're not removed from Healy Terrace or the south side of North Midland Avenue. So please remember, if you live in those areas, if you have a car parked on any of those streets, right now would be a good time to go out and try to move them and find a spot before the snow starts coming down pretty heavily. Because if you don't, you will find yourself getting towed. The towing fee is high and there's a summons. So don't take the risk. Get out there right now and move your cars now if you are on Kearney Avenue, Healy Terrace, or the south side of North Midland Avenue. The reason I was wondering why they chose North Midland Avenue. If you've ever driven on it, you know what that curve is like. It is deadly, it seems. So they wanted to keep that part of the street, that street clear for emergency vehicles in order to get up and around if, God forbid, they are necessary at some point in the next 24 to 48 hours. So at first I looked at that and I'm like, well, that's a very strange street to start with, but it all makes sense when you put it all together. The other snow emergency streets will take effect a little bit later on. We'll have more information about that when the information does become available. Now, we did mention Kearney, but really use common sense. This is going to be the same in all of our towns. It's going to be all of the towns. A school at Kearney is closed. The public schools are closed. The charter school is closed. Harrison schools, Tony just told me, are closed in a text message. I'm pretty sure that's going to be across the board right now, the way this prediction has been going. What happens on Tuesday, we'll know more about on Monday. And at that point in time, when we know more, we will join you to let you know. So use common sense for a lot of things. And I do want to mention one final thing too. This is kind of important because the last snowstorm caused a lot of strife in a lot of neighborhoods. And there were some people I noticed who parked their vehicles and then just didn't move them for 4 or 5 days. It's important to realize that even when it snows out, your vehicles have to be moved every 48 hours, or you're subject to getting one of those big orange stickers on your window. And then when that police officer puts that sticker on your car, comes back in his or her next shift, if the car hasn't been moved, it's going to be towed. So, courtesy is a big thing. If you have a driveway, please use it. I mean, I'm lucky and fortunate to have a driveway. That's where my car is. I don't understand why anybody would not want to park on a driveway if you have it. And in a lot of neighborhoods, I don't need to tell you this, people will park on the street and not in their driveway. This is an important time right now so that anybody who needs a spot can find a spot. And don't take up spaces, don't hog spaces. That is so obscene when people park in a spot that looks like it could probably be taking up 3 spots, more room in the front, more in the back. Use common sense when you park your vehicles. Park them as try to give space so that everybody else can find somewhere to park. It's very, very important. Now, Melanie wanted me to remind you about this too. If you go to www.carneynj.org, or if you go to any of the other towns' websites in the Observer's readership area, there are places where you can sign up for reverse 911 notifications, which means that at noon today, for example, an alert went out to anybody who has a Verizon landline phone and anybody who registered their cell phones or their non landline phone landlines. I know that sounds kind of funny, right? But the thing is, these services are automatic if you have a Verizon landline phone, but they are not if you have, let's say, Comcast Xfinity as your home service provider. You have to go to these websites and register for them. I did this 10 years ago. I registered my cell phone number. To this day, whenever there is a snow emergency, if there's a missing child or anything like that, the alerts do go out. So visit carneynj.org and you can register it right away. Put your cell phone number in, they'll ask you for a couple of other details, and make sure that you get those reverse 911 calls when they are needed. And they also send out text messages, they also send out emails as well. You can choose what and what not to get when it comes to these alerts, but they're very important. And we're not always available to go online. I'll go on the air too. So if you don't have the uh, sign up done already, do it right now. Stop what you're doing. Go to your town's website and sign up for the reverse 911 alerts. You will find it on every single town's website. You just have to do a little bit of searching sometimes because some websites are more cluttered than others. We all know that. So just do a little bit of looking and you will find it, but you will not regret it. I promise you, you won't if you don't get those alerts at this point, because you will absolutely, absolutely get all these alerts that you need to know about during emergencies and things of that nature. All right, everybody. It is 1:42 Eastern Time here on the East Coast. A lot of stuff's going to happen in the next couple of days, so please be careful. Please use common sense. Please use a lot of courtesy. I want to thank each and every one of you who are here today. There are a lot of you here today, and people have been coming in and out. I really appreciate you joining us for Tony, because what he has to say is always right on the money. I would, when I, just before he came on the air, I was looking at NJ.com and I was reading something like 28 to 32 inches of snow as being possible. And he's already dispelled that right away. Does say you could get up to 20, but when you want to get the right weather forecast, he's always the one. If you joined us late, once we get off the air, you can wind back and watch what Tony had to say. Pay close attention to everything he says, but be safe, be alert, be courteous, and we will talk to you at the next available moment. We're not sure when that'll be. It'll probably be sometime tomorrow. And if, of course, if there's any emergency news that needs to get out, we will break it to you right here in the same spot. There is one other thing I wanted to remind you, however. We have a new website that will help you to get to see our live broadcasts a lot easier. It's www.theobserver.live. If you put that into a web browser, it'll take you directly to our live broadcasting platform, and you will be able to see us whenever we go live. And if we're not live, you'll be able to see all of the podcast versions of our broadcasts. Look under the live tab on that site right there. So that'll do it for now. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Stay safe, stay warm, and we will see you next time. From the home studio, Kevin Canessa, signing off for now, and we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Thank you, one and all, for being here today. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.